Good evening, everyone. My name is Jason Miles, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Red Zone. And oh my God, you guys would not believe what has happened to me just this week alone with Wi-Fi issues. As you know, I live here in Mexico, or as my friend Ben Burgess calls it, Libertarian California. And here in Libertarian California, for some reason, every time someone that moves into my building gets internet, they disconnect my internet for no reason whatsoever. There's no warning. Obviously, someone lives in the third apartment where the big fucking terrace is, but nobody cares. And I'm disconnected all the time. It's by far the most annoying shit ever. I'd say like a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I was here like I am now on my terrace doing some work, and a worker from the internet company came and he just disconnected my line. You can see there's a line from my roof to the pole. You can't see it from here, and just disconnected it. And I saw him do it, and so I ran out in my little fucking chunkless, and I was like, "Hey, dude, did you just disconnect the internet?" He goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Why'd you do that?" He's like, "You don't have internet." I was like, "Yeah, I do." He's like, "How long have you been here?" Because he thought I was a tourist. I was like, "I've been here for 3 years." He goes, "Oh, you live here?" I was like, "Yeah." And he like wanted me to prove it. And so I definitely showed him a bill. I actually keep my receipts from paying my bill. And so he goes, "Oh, my bad." And he went up and reconnected it. And I don't know if that happened again, but the week started off with there being no Wi-Fi because somebody hit a pole and took out this entire neighborhood. And, they don't send you any messages like, "Oh, hey, you might have an outage in your area." You have to go down to the place, and my Spanish is really fucking horrible. So I have to wait until tomorrow morning to attempt to go down and be like, again, "Hey guys, why is there no Wi-Fi?" Because I can't keep running off this phone, because I have to knock on wood and hope that the phone works. But all that being said, we are here today, and hopefully we can do the show tonight. Well, the first week of the NFL season is officially in the books, and what's clear is that the lack of preseason action. Hold on. Preseason action paired with concerns about key starters getting injured has led to many coaches holding back, leaving some crucial players without valuable playing time. The rookie starters in particular looked quite pedestrian against experienced NFL defenses. And as for the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes and company still look like the best team in the league. But after them, who takes the number 2 spot? The San Francisco 49ers faced a significant setback, missing key offensive players, including Christian McCaffrey, the most drafted player in fantasy football, due to a calf injury. Meanwhile, the New York Jets didn't seem to improve much with Aaron Rodgers under center. Struggling just as they did with Zach Wilson last season, their defense couldn't contain the 49ers' ground game, and their backup running back had a career high in rushing yards. Over in Los Angeles, the Aaron Donald-less Rams pulled off an overtime win against a much-improved Lions team. Can Matt Stafford lead one last title run? And in Minnesota, will Sam Darnold finally live up to his first-round potential? If he does, the Vikings may find themselves in a tricky situation with a project quarterback unable to even practice this season, should they sneak into the playoffs. On the college football front, Notre Dame suffered a shocking loss to NIU. Does that spell the end for head coach Marcus Freeman? Meanwhile, Brian Kelly will have to regroup after LSU's upset loss to USC. Can he rebuild the powerhouse team? Here to discuss all this with me, and also ask the question, is Texas the team to beat in college football? Here to discuss all this with me is my man. Please welcome Mac.
Thank you. I can hear all your digital clapping.
It's not the same, right?
Yeah, yeah. But you know what, man? Like,
Yeah.
is Texas? I'll be the first one to finally admit to it. Texas is back finally after like 15 years in the wilderness. It looks like Quinn Ewers is the Moses to the University of Texas football team right now. And yeah, like Jason, I told you the wrong team won. It was the Lions that won.
No, I thought no,
No,
the Rams kicked the field goal, didn't they?
no, the Lions pulled it out.
The Lions won? Okay.
Yeah, but still, I think it does bear. We should talk about Stafford. I think that's important.
He
Matthew
threw for
Stafford
320.
on like 71 attempts or something like that.
He had quite a few attempts. I think he had like 45.
Yeah,
And no Puka. Puka got
He-
hurt in
yeah. Puka
the
got hurt. Puka's out for the next at least 4 weeks. But Stafford got battered around, and I think that goes to show what happens when you don't invest heavily in your offensive line. Both the Jets and the Rams showed what happens. Like a lot of prognosticators said the Jets have one of the best defenses in the league. And the fact of the matter is their offensive line is ass. So you can put Devontae Adams back on that team to pair with Garrett Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers ain't going to be worth a shit because he can't sit in the pocket and throw a goddamn football. And this is what kills me, right? We got Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers both coming off the same injury, and they looked sedentary. A big thing about Aaron Rodgers was his ability to kind of slide in the pocket, make extra time, and then be able to hit that dagger down the field. Bro, he ain't got it anymore. This is what happens when people are like, yeah, man, Rodgers just needs a year to recover, and it'll be back to the same old Aaron. Dude, he is 40 fucking years old. If I bend down wrong, my back hurts sometimes. I cannot imagine coming back from an Achilles injury right now. That sounds awful. They could be like, Mac, we're going to give you $5 million, but you're going to have an Achilles injury. I'll be like, dude, I'll die poor. That's fine. The rehab alone sounds awful.
So
but
the little bit I watched of the Jets. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's just offensive line play is super important, and the Jets didn't invest in it, and the Rams didn't. So now you have two. I mean, they're not older to us. I mean, Rodgers is about the same age, a little younger than us. But it's like, dude, they're fighting father time. Like I was saying last week, playing behind a patchwork offensive line. So, what?
Dude, I know nothing about that.
Shannon.
Virtuoso says I'm 38 and I'm hearing strange noises from my knee.
Yeah. It's like, just wait until it's your shoulder, Virtuoso, and then you're just like
your hips calling your knees. The call's coming from inside the house.
Yeah, it's fucking awful. But you know what? I guarantee you, Shannon Sharp leaked his own sex tape just to make Will Levis look even worse.
Will Levis, oh man, there's this thing that people forget, that rookies can come in sometimes and put up some good numbers, and people think, oh, okay, nothing literally changed. That's never how it happens, especially if a rookie gets in later in the season.
Yeah.
And a guy that wasn't picked to be the franchise, he did pretty good, and then he got the crap beat out of him week one.
Yeah,
but again, a lot of guys didn't look that great week one.
Yeah, but see, Levis, there's a reason he slid into the second round. That's he wasn't a first rounder. I wouldn't even pick him in the second. I mean, he has a live arm, but dude, his game has a lot of holes in it. He's just a guy that fits that. He's a white dude that fits the prototypical, he's tall, he's strong, Yeah. He went live, oh my God.
So first of all, I'm sorry for saying that the Rams won. The Rams did lose in OT, but Can the Rams rival the Niners
Fuck
in the
no.
NFC West?
No. No. All right. I'm gonna tell you right now, San Francisco is one of the most talent-loaded teams in the NFL, and they're coached by honestly, the best, if not one of the best head coaches in the NFL. Like Kyle Shanahan can scheme for anybody. I mean, look what he did. He took a dude who knocked out like 146 yards rushing. That's the most yards on the ground he's had since high school.
That's crazy.
You know, it's anybody. Like he built Raheem Mostert's career. You know, because anybody can run in that system. And I shouldn't say anybody. That's a real disservice to the guys that are in the league. But he takes guys that aren't very well known at running back and makes them into very good football players. And look how devastating that offense is with a guy like Christian McCaffrey in it. It's not even
It's
fair.
a family tradition. It's a Shanahan family tradition. Joel Amite says Shanahan has holes in his game. The holes in his game is called Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Kryptonite, dude. And Joel Amite, you're right. Every coach has a hole, has holes in their scheming and planning and all that. Right. But I don't think anybody can argue that the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch pairing in San Francisco has been nothing but a success, considering the turmoil that the Niners were in under like the early bulky years, into the behind the scenes fight, scrum for power with Harbaugh, it's been an unmitigated success, and the thing is who saw that coming from John Lynch? Like, honestly, I was like,
a lot of people thought John Lynch was going to be a joke in the front office, but people forget John Lynch. Do you know where he went to college? Anyone?
Stanford.
There you go.
Yeah, he's a smart dude.
They don't hire fucking football players. They hire, Deloitte and Touche people.
Yeah, but most players tend to be very bad in the front office, former players, and Lynch has kind of been the exception to that rule. And I think that's a good thing. I thought he would be a punch drunk safety after his career was over because the dude hit you like a ton of bricks.
He was a hell of a player. Is he? He's not even in the Hall of Fame, is he?
No, dude.
Why?
You gotta think, well, because as a safety, it's hard to get in. That's one of those tough positions to get in. He
had a very good career in Denver too.
Yeah, very long career for his position. So I don't know, man. Guys like Ronnie Lott got in because he kind of changed how safety was played.
Yes.
He hit like a linebacker and was able to do very well in coverage. He did, Joel Amite. He absolutely did give doses of CT. But like Lott was he was a generational talent at his position, right? I could say you could probably say during the 80s and into the early 90s, the bellwether safeties were like Joey Browner and Ronnie Lott. And then when you look at Lott, people give him a lot of shit, especially after his 49er days, where he kind of jumped on a couple of different teams, had some time with the Raiders,
Jets,
but still the guy played like 15 years or something, close to that. And that's getting that much mileage out of a safety. Good Lord, just absolutely nuts. Steve Atwater. I wasn't trying to be
Steve Atwater. Steve Atwater played with, and everybody forgets this for some reason, Ronnie Lott's compadre at USC, who also had a very good NFL career, Dennis Smith.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to knock Steve Atwater, but Browner changed the way safety was played. He played more like a corner. He didn't have as long a career.
No.
But he
was
still
a beast in the 80s.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's a good name to bring back. And I think I sent you a couple of these. Did I send you some of those USFL games?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Someone's been uploading the most random football games. It'll be like Week 10, 1989, Patriots against the Raiders. And I've been meaning to send some of these to you. But in watching some of these games, these super random football games it'll be like 1998, just a regular season football game. you see some of these players that you haven't heard their name in forever because they were of a certain era that's gone now. Like if you played before the video game era, before the video game licensing era, a lot of people don't remember you. And Joey Browner is one of those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, guys like Val Sikahema. I remember just the straightaway speed that he had. And he was supposed to be like the next like speedy running back, but every time he like hit a hole and a tackle, like a defensive tackle brushed him, he'd fall over. So he made most of his damage on kicks, kick returns.
He was scary on the kick returns. Lofa Tatupu, remember Lofa Tatupu?
Oh, yeah.
Whose son played in the league as well?
Hey, Steve, the white defensive back is already back. Cooper Deshaun. Okay, he can say it's Deshaun. It's Deshaun out of Iowa. All right.
Is he the real deal to you?
I think so. I think, and that's a good system for him to go play in Philly because he's not expected to be like a showstopper in his rookie year. There's a lot of talent, especially up front for Philly. So like that's a place where he can just go play and cut his teeth his rookie year, and have a good career if he can just stick to his role. And that's going to be kind of the weird thing for him because he played corner in college. And with the NFL, you essentially are playing. No, it's my laptop, Steve. Eat shit, okay? It might be a little dusty. Sorry. Hey,
Steve just wrote in the chat, "What the fuck, Mac recording on a Motorola Razor?"
Hey, Motorola's making new razors, okay? They're smartphones, Steve. They're smartphones.
Oh my god!
Now ask me if I own one. The answer to that question is no.
I don't know why that was so funny. Iowa got the white DB factory. Do you think so?
I mean, they've made a couple of them. I mean, a lot of their guys are like in the USFL or the UFL, which I think's good, because that's where you're gonna God damn, all of you, shut the fuck up. God damn. We are a half hour into the show and we're getting roasted already. Jesus. Take my goddamn ball and go home.
Virtuoso said Mac is streaming in 180p. I'm sorry. Thank you guys for making me laugh because I was really fucking upset.
Man, just bust my balls. I had a day today, Virtuoso, and I thought we were pals, but no, fuck Mac. Let's get some shit tonight.
Oh shit.
But no.
Well, we have to rebound after the last Sunday show, by the way, too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I think it could easily be Skyping off the BlackBerry. Wow. Wow.
I just want to do the show. And I can't because I keep looking down.
Getting crushed. No, here's Hunter now. Oh, great. Yeah.
Sadly, Mac gets more pixelated the more these comments come in. Oh my god!
I'm gonna look like a goddamn like Super Nintendo game here in a minute.
Oh my god! These dudes are on fire. They're on fire. The whole Fayetteville sharing Wi-Fi password.
Oh man.
Oh god.
Well, Steve, it got worse because I'm not good looking. Okay, I'm not an attractive man. Why do you think I grow a beard? It covers half my face.
Nuri says actually Mac is on Jason's Wi-Fi. I'm literally doing this from my phone, and I don't want to move my phone because I don't want the whole show to just go beep beep.
Yeah, Jason's like trying not to bump the table, just like please don't move.
Yeah, I'm so angry, and I have to be angry for another 12 hours until I angrily walk to the door of the Wi-Fi place, and then as I walk through it, I have to be like, "Hello."
Hi, my name's Jason Miles. I'm a patron of your establishment. Yes. I'm very sorry to bother you. I know it's business hours, but
I know it's business. There's a security guard in the front. They didn't even give that fool a flashlight. All he got is a gray polo shirt.
some brass knuckles in his pocket, you know.
I'm like, what the fuck is you securing, homeboy? They gave you some Dockers and a motherfucking polo. Oh shit!
You let that man live, okay? It's rough being a security guard.
I mean, he looks like he don't want no problems.
Oh, I didn't
All
either.
he does, yeah.
They'd be like, "Are you gonna
The
let him
Mexican-
steal?" I'd be like, "Yeah, man, I'm not stopping."
Yeah,
him.
well, you see, all I got is a polo. I can't even hit him with a flashlight. I can't
Yeah.
do shit.
Can't do nothing.
He's the Flavor Flav of security guards. I can't do nothing for you, man. I can't do nothing.
He just sits there. They look at him like, "Hey, you gonna stop him? Have you seen my paycheck? No."
Yeah, like hell no, I ain't gonna stop him. Shit. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna open the door for him and ask him if he needs anything, like a beverage.
You need to get you an Uber? No? Okay, carry on. Yeah. Oh, Dolomite. No.
Okay, I just want anyone listening to this show, I want you guys to understand what's going on right now in the chat is how all sports shows should work. Joelmite has commented right now, that's an outfit from his daughter's quinceañera.
And like, you know what's sad, Jason, is I had Mexican buddies in the army, and that's exactly what they wore, like a solid colored polo, you know, like some khakis.
Oh, these dudes out here be dressing like they 9-year-olds or toddlers, man. These grown ass men be having them horizontal striped shirts and khaki shorts.
Oh, fuck that, dude.
I was like, oh man, all these NPCs got all the women. I need to change my outfit. Press chinos and the US Polo Association shirt. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh. Who is Javier? Javier, we got a new nigga up in here named Javier. And he just kaboom. Guess
That's
who
right.
stepped in the room?
Javier walked in just like he chose violence today. He just like
this is crazy. So we got young Hobbs just stepped in the fucking
that's
room.
Right.
Oh my god. That's a Burlington coat factory.
Steve's right. Absolutely. It's going to be funny when Jason starts laughing and he pisses himself.
Dude, usually I could like take myself off the screen, but this is just too fucking funny. I have to. This is hilarious, blood. A Burlington fit.
Just let it out. You know.
You know what's fucked up? I'll be real, and we can get back to the main show topic. But so there's no Burlington Coat Factory or Ross here, and you can go to these little markets. They'll have like these, just like a pop-up store, because again, Libertarian California, and there'll be like a cat that robbed a Burlington. And he just opens up a little store.
You see him like he just like unfolds a table and like puts like a handbill up, you know.
He like, they'd be like, oh man, they got good shit here, man. They got da-da-da-da. Like, man, that's all bootleg shit in Burlington. But it's a thing, man. It's a thing.
Hey, you can't interrupt the free market, Jason. Okay, those were just entrepreneurs. All right, that's all they were.
That's the
Trying.
one thing they're not going to mess with you about when you come to the border. If you came to the border right now with a suitcase, with your whole trunk full of bootleg Levi's, would nobody stop you? Just spelled like Will Levis.
Hey man, you want some Levises? You mean Levi's? No,
No,
Levises.
I mean Levis's.
Will Levis actually had an apparel deal with this denim company, and then they saw his sex tape and he busted after 20 seconds. So they were like, "Fuck that! I want a spokesperson that could last at least 4 minutes." You know, so they canceled it. Now there's just Levises all over Mexico right now.
Now everybody clowning on Javi. It said Javi looked in his closet and picked out his favorite pieces. God damn. Damn. This is a. What did we start today, Mac?
You know what? If it brings enjoyment to the people and it gets them going, I'll be the punching bag any day of the week. It's okay. It just Javi had to take a couple shots in it too. He was Javi. I'm sorry you became collateral damage in this entire thing.
I don't know. And then they said Judge Joe Brown has a Twitter space with Amber Rose.
Oh
what
my
the
God.
fuck is going on in the world?
Joe Brown and Amber Rose. That's going to be the dumbest Twitter space since Elon Musk did the first one, when he took over.
I forgot about that.
God.
God, I did.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, bad lefty. You could just sit back and watch for a change. You don't even have to fucking participate in this.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers is on one. Bad.
Yeah.
But as we were saying, there is actual football to talk about today. I do think that the Rams play the Niners tough. And I think I like sports when rivalries exist, right? When the Broncos and the Raiders are a legitimate rivalry and they're really jockeying for position. When the Redskins and the Cowboys are actually jockeying for position and one team's just not a doormat.
You mean when one division's not a doormat? The NFC East
that
is
division.
Bad, man.
Do you think that the Vikings' victory over the Giants is less about the Vikings finally getting a piece of the puzzle that can put them over the hump? Or do you think the Giants are just that bad?
Jason, you could have looked good against the Giants at quarterback.
Damn.
And I mean, maybe Sam Darnold puts it together. Maybe he does. And because he's your heterosexual life mate, I want him to have success. Okay? That's what I want. I want him to get a big contract. And he just is like, Jason, hey, guess what, pal? You're the wrong skin pigment, but I still love you. And, you can come live with me, bud. Come on. I mean, you're going to have to do some chores. Got to help my wife around the house. And I know you won't bother her because she's got a flat ass. That's for me, not for you.
Know your place.
Yeah. Just remember, okay? She's irresistible to me. And you're just like,
damn.
Pancake ass. No, thank you. Hey, delicious pancake ass.
We love pancakes in this house.
I eat at IHOP all the time. See, I can make ass eating jokes too, Jason. Ha ha.
Or he just yells at me, "Shut up, Sambo," and just walks into the next room.
And you're just like, what? Let me show you to the guest.
Hunter, do you see what Hunter said? Do you see what Hunter said? Hunter said, "I haven't had trust in Sam Darnold since y'all clowned his flat booty ass wife." Damn.
No, but like the Giants are awful, just awful. And the thing is, I feel horrible for Malik Neighbors because that kid, comes from a program that just makes dynamic wide receivers. And he ends up having Daniel Jones throwing the ball to him, which means he might catch 6 passes all year because Jones is either going to
Damn.
underthrow him or overthrow him. And when he's not doing that, he's going to be flat on his back. Um, like the Giants are just fucking awful. So Sam Darnold should look good. Now, the key to seeing if Sam Darnold actually put it together and, with him playing with some talented players pans out is
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
going forward in the season, especially when they hit the NFC North part of the schedule, like playing the Bears, the Packers, and the freaking Lions. Now, if he can put up numbers against them, sure, maybe he did get it together. Maybe he is going to move you into his guest house. I don't know. But I don't see it, man. I don't see it. Down syndrome Jones.
I really believe that kid finally has something he hasn't had in a while, which is the keys to the car. He's got a lot of experience, and he's got receivers that can really play, and a decent defense. I don't know if they're going to win the North, because I don't know how long the injury to Jordan Love is going to be an impediment to the Packers. And I don't know how good the Bears can be after watching Caleb Williams' first game and him looking like a rookie. I don't think he looked bad at all. I just think he looked like a rookie. I think all the rookies played like rookies.
Yeah, Caleb Williams looked like a guy who in college was fucking Neo from the Matrix, right? And now everybody is as fast as Agent Smith. That's the long and short of it. And that's a growing pain for a rookie. The thing is when he gets comfortable, I mean, honestly, rookies aren't typically comfortable until about 10 games in. So let's see what happens after week 10. If he can get in the first 10 games for the Bears, if Williams can get to 5-5, that is a great success, because at that point you still have 7 more games, and in the NFL expanded the playoffs, a couple years ago. So there's that extra wild cards. Maybe you can sneak in. Weirder things have happened. So I mean, the North is going to go through Detroit. Detroit got a lot better on defense. Well, sorry, Nuri.
That's what we do.
Yeah. But a lot better on defense. And Dan Campbell, in honestly a short time, has like instilled like this winning kind of like culture in Detroit, which was Detroit was just a punching bag for decades.
Literally our whole lives.
Yeah.
We've never remembered Detroit as a perennial playoff contender until they had a brief run in the 90s.
Yeah, under Wayne Fonts, like they had a couple like 9-7, 10-6, wild card years. But like this, Dan Campbell's just done like a phenomenal job up there, and I really think they're gonna have the North. And I mean, dude, they gave San Francisco everything they could last year in the NFC title game. I mean, everything. And if their defense would have been better last season, who knows? They might have won the Super Bowl. But it's the North is going to be Green Bay and Detroit, even with the injury to Love. Like I was saying last week, if Willis can just keep them 500 until Love comes back, Green Bay's still in a good spot. So it's weird to kind of see the makeup of the NFC right now, because San Francisco, since Harbaugh, has been pretty steady. They kind of yo-yoed, but then they got Shanahan on board and Lynch, and they kind of built like this super team. Because like honestly, if I'm any NFL general manager right now and I see John Lynch in my caller ID, I'm telling him to go fuck himself, because I know I'm gonna lose my best player and I'm getting nothing in return for him. Like it's just how it is. The only thing with San Francisco is with all the big deals that have come out, I wouldn't be surprised if Deebo Samuel gets moved. You can only carry so much money on the books at that position. So it's like you've already, kind of committed a shit ton of money to Brandon Ayuk. How are you going to make this, make it work under the salary cap? Because this is the last year for Brock Purdy making under $1 million. And Dak Prescott just signed a deal where he's making $60 million a year.
So do you think this is the Niners' last season with the ability to keep this many stars on the team? Or do you think that that doesn't matter because someone like, I would say Kyle Shanahan, can, with his staff, say, we'll re-sign the QB and we can lose a Christian McCaffrey, we can lose a Deebo Samuel, because we can find another tweener like that in the draft later in the rounds.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is with McCaffrey, he plays a position like this is McCaffrey's last big contract. Unfortunately, running backs don't get paid like that anymore. So I can see McCaffrey sticking around on smaller deals. One, he's from the area. Two, that system really takes advantage of his talents. And on top of that, he knows if he goes down, which McCaffrey is not what you would call like a guy who is durable. He always misses time. But that system's so good, you can just plug in another running back and the running game doesn't stop, and you still have players like Brandon Ayuk.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, he didn't have a great game. That happens when you kind of like do a hold in and you don't report, you report late. It's just kind of nuts. But like that system will roll. But like I just with the NFL trade deadline until probably the last few years hasn't really been any fun because the season's too short,
Historically, the NFL trade deadline has never
Yeah.
been quote unquote exciting. It's not the NBA.
Yeah, it's not the NBA, it's not Major League Baseball. You don't see a lot of big names moved, but that's starting to change because of the salary cap. And yeah, it's increasing every year. But at a certain point, you still have to make sure you're under the cap. And the Niners are pushing it, dude. Like the Browns only had like $200,000 in space before Watson restructured his deal. And we gotta talk about that in a little bit because Jesus Christ.
No, I think that's an important thing to talk about, and I also want to kind of not just talk about it because we've talked about this before. We don't want to sound like McKinsey analysts here talking about ownership problems.
Yeah,
because ownership problems shouldn't be the focus of the conversation. But my thing with Deshaun Watson is he looked pretty good for a team that didn't win a lot of games. And then he gets embroiled in this scandal, misses a season. Who then takes a cat that misses an entire season that looked okay and says, you're the franchise?
Yeah, I mean, you got to think too, when you really look at it, Watson had one groundbreaking season, right? And he parlayed that into a huge deal in Texas or in Houston. Houston's not very good, so he's just like, I'll sit out. I don't give a shit. Don't pay me. And then, the sexual assault allegations begin. And the thing is there have been Steve. No, Steve. Bad. Okay, we're gonna squirt you with the water bottle next time we. But no, like he. You're absolutely right. Like the guy missed 2 years of football.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a ton of football. And then you give him the largest guaranteed contract at the time for him to do nothing. And it's not like he came into a talent deficient team. Cleveland had done a great job of stocking the offense. I mean, it sucks that Chubb went out last year, but still the Browns put up 11 wins and made the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that was with Joe Flacco shouldering the load, right? Hey, Matthew. But here's my thing. Looking at the Browns now, how they just got pushed around the entire field. At what point does Stefanski go, he's not our guy, and sits him? Because at this point, why not take a shot and put Jameis Winston or even Thompson Robinson in. Because what do you have to lose? You're already getting shitty quarterback play. Why not?
I feel like Jameis Winston is a different guy now that he's matured a bit after. Who else was nominated for the Heisman the year he won it?
Oh, dude, I can't even remember. And I'm not saying he's a shitty quarterback. I know he's grown up quite a bit. There's a reason teams tripped over themselves to sign him to be a backup, because especially New Orleans, he really went into kind of like teacher mode for younger players.
Yeah,
He
he actually seems to be for all intents and purposes, the hype around him being a troubled kid with some free, or he stole some crab legs or something like that. Like he never really did anything that made you go, "Oh, this guy's a problem."
Yeah, so it's like, take it. Why not see what you get with Jameis Winston on the field? You're going to get a lot of interceptions, but you also have a defense that can force turnovers as well. Or give the young kid a shot. I mean, again, you are getting dog shit play out of your quarterback, the most important position on the field. At what point do you just say, you know what, we've had enough, and you cut your losses?
Yeah.
Because like, why torpedo the whole team just because your front office, and this was Jimmy Haslam and Andrew Berry, made the decision, to pull the trigger on this trade and bring him in. I mean, Steve, honestly, they should have used, I mean, they should have kept Flacco, but like, you're not getting 17 games out of Joe Flacco. You're not getting 17 games out of a 40-year-old quarterback. It's just not going to happen. Flacco, honestly, he can play 5-6 games for you, probably, get you. I mean, look at what he did with Cleveland. Like he had a great supporting cast, and he played amazing football. Like the dude led the NFL in passing yardage in the games, like in the portion of the season that he played. So like, but it's hard to get a whole season out of a 40-year-old quarterback. So like, I mean, honestly, if I'm Stefanski and you have Jacksonville coming up and Watson doesn't deliver the goods, so to speak, that's when you go to Andrew Berry and be like, dude, I'm fucking done. Like, it makes no sense to continue like going with somebody that isn't going to get you wins. This is a what have you done for me lately league, and Deshaun Watson's done nothing but lose and be hurt.
I'd rather see that, because you know what happens with this? Sometimes people get so caught up in being the McKinsey analyst of it all. People forget that this is about wins and losses and competing.
Yeah.
And ultimately, these are toys for extremely rich people. Toys for extremely rich people. They don't care about these fines. They don't. I believe most of the owners make their money somewhere else right now, right?
Well, I mean, it depends. When hey, Sith Lord. You know what? Not even mad. I get it. But certain owners do make money outside of their teams, right? But you have guys like Mark Davis. That is his only. That's it, right? And then you have guys like Jerry Jones who made their money outside of football, but now, like the Cowboys are his. That's it. That's his big income developer. And the thing is, it's like when you build your own stadium, you get to collect all the gate receipts for everything that happens there, right?
And
that's why
a lot of money.
Oh, dude, that's why the house that
that's
Jerry
a big
built,
real estate. Yeah, this big real estate investment. People forget that.
And on top of that, he hosts Canelo Alvarez fights, 70,000 people in a seat, cheapest tickets $200. Dude's killing it, right? He's doing Final Four games there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a reason he built an indoor stadium, because he can do anything in it now.
It's a real estate investment.
Yeah. So he's going to pay the shit off quicker than any city would, like any city or county or state funded stadium. But like, and then you have like the guy that bought the Commanders, he's a tech dude, so that's where his money comes from. So, I mean, I'd argue like a guy like Robert Kraft, most of his money comes from the team. But then a lot of these new owners, like Shad Khan, made his billions in steel and overseas investment. So like it just depends. I mean, I would probably say it's 50-50, like honestly. Major League Baseball is a little more different. The NHL is very, very different because they've had a ton of new ownership come into that league where most of their money is comes from outside of the team. And then again, purchasing an NHL team is nowhere near as expensive as trying to buy into the NFL, which is like, if you can buy an NFL team at this point, you've made it. Like you're at the very top of the economic food chain at this point.
Like I think was since the Russell Wilson deal, which was a really that was a desperation move that just didn't pan out, and it feels like it's going to hurt for a little bit as Broncos are trying to rebuild. Because how long of a leash do you give Sean Payton?
Yeah.
Because he wasted 1 year with Russell Wilson. I think people are going to feel comfortable to eat that money and move on to the next guy. And if Jameis Winston, a former number one overall draft pick, who has shown flashes of some really good quarterback play, but Jameis Winston is, to me, going back to Caleb Williams, your superstar like Caleb Williams are special generational talents. The guys, even the Brett Favres of the world, the John Elways, you have to kind of let them do their thing, which may be 3 interceptions in a game, and they come back and throw four touchdowns to win the game, because they're special. Jameis never really, to me, became the
Yeah.
that type guy. He's good. He's been a really good backup. I think there's a new term that I think we're going to hear a lot more for next year in the combine. Bridge quarterback. I think he's a great bridge quarterback.
Yeah, he's not someone you build a franchise around. And before we continue on this, Virtuoso brought up a good point. That seems noble that the Packers are publicly owned, but how is that set up? Well, here's the thing. Back in the 20s when the NFL started, most teams were publicly owned. They were owned by the communities that they played in, right? But going into the 50s, the NFL was not very popular, right? That's why you had like the AAFC, you had the AFL shortly after in the 60s and into the 70s. There were a lot of competitors. But the most popular sport in the country at that time was Major League Baseball. And by the 50s, there were no publicly community-owned teams anymore. They had an owner, right? And the NFL really wanted to get to that model because you know what shores up your finances as a league? Expansion. How can we sell a team to a city, right? We can't do that. So as we progress and the NFL has that great Ice Bowl game, that was on one of the first televised football games, it really started pushing the popularity of the sport and the league. Okay. You saw fewer and fewer community-owned teams until by the 60s, every one of them, except the Packers, was owned by one person or one family. Now, in the 80s, at this point, the NFL is competing with Major League Baseball as the most popular sport in the country, right? It wasn't the strike that started killing, or the strike in 94 that started killing popularity of baseball. It was the series of strikes and lockouts in the 80s that really started doing it. Which I figured if, this is a time when America's hemorrhaging jobs because of, offshoring and everything and the destruction of American manufacturing, they would have sided with the players, considering the owners got busted for colluding to keep player salaries down in 83, I believe. 82. Okay. I know it was the early 80s, but it's just, that's how it rolled. So when we get to the late 80s, the NFL actually passed a rule that grandfathered the Packers in that said there can no longer be community-owned teams. They have to have one owner or a family that owns the organization. So, you have to realize the Browns, had a community investment in it. It wasn't just Paul Brown that owned the team. Essentially one of the first NFL champions, the Canton Bulldogs, was completely owned by the city of Canton. So like that's how it came, and that's why the Packers are the only one now. The NFL wants that money, and the thing is, the really sad thing is that community owned teams had community funded stadiums, and it made sense, right? If these privately owned teams use local governments to tax us to build stadiums left and right, no shit. You'd think, but that's not the case. Now, Jason, getting back to what you're saying about the Browns eating the cost, right? And essentially doing a Wilson cut. Like, we're going to eat this, and Watson's free to sign with whatever team, and he can do it on the league minimum, but he's still going to get, 50 something $million for that year. The thing, Jimmy Haslam is browbeating the city of Cleveland for a brand new stadium that's completely publicly funded. He will not kick in a dime. People in Cleveland are pissed about it. He's talking about moving them out to Berea, closer to the airport. Saying that, the Berea can float a team or a stadium. No, Berea fucking cannot. And the thing is, can you imagine the blowback if Haslam's like, we're just going to eat the loss, considering the PR black eye that the Browns took swinging this trade and then giving him all that money, while saying, I want, a $3 or $4 billion stadium that I don't want to pitch in any money for. Dude, Browns fans would be fucking furious. So I mean, it's a dicey situation, right? And again, I'm blaming this all on the Atlanta Braves, who pissed and moaned about a 23-year-old stadium and got a new one built in Cobb County, completely on the taxpayer dime. And now every fucking team owner in every sport in this goddamn country is like, our stadiums are only good 20 years now. Where we need a new one, So it's horseshit, and nobody wants to watch our episode about how stadiums don't economically benefit you. They only bankrupt you.
Nobody wants to care. Nobody cares about Oakland.
Yeah.
Oakland is a beautiful city. I walked through it 4 weeks ago when I was up north seeing my 3 weeks ago, seeing my son and daughter for their birthday. And I didn't recognize a lot of it, but it's heartbreaking to see where the stadium is pretty much just an encampment.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was the heart of that city, but sports in Oakland, when it was good, even though I'm not a fan of the A's or the Raiders, I am a bit of a Warriors fan. But when all that stuff was firing at once, it was kind of fun to be in the city of Oakland, because it is such a kind of working class town, and we don't have a downtown stadium.
Yeah.
That stadium is in kind of the middle of the hood.
Yeah. Hey, sorry about that. Dr. Claw, you're right. It was Brook Park, not Berea. Thank you. Berea is where the team headquarters is at, Jason. But Brook Park is where Jimmy's trying to build his Taj Mahaslam, and have Brook Park pay for it. And dude, there's nothing out there compared to like Cleveland proper. And I think you lose a lot when you take, Newry. Yeah. That's the thing. We saw it happen, where the Wizards tried to force a move to Northern Virginia. That got shot down. The fact of the matter is, nobody, when you take a team from a city and move it out to the burbs, you lose something. You fucking lose something. And that, I think when the Bears build their new stadium, which is out in the burbs, it's like, I think they said it's like a half hour to 40 minutes away from where Soldier Field is now. You lose some of that mystique, but I'll tell you right now, the two teams in Oakland, the Roots, the Soul, or excuse me, the three, the Roots, the Soul, and the, believe it or not, the Oakland Bees, which is an independent minor league team. They're going to be occupying the Coliseum, and the people have to realize the Oakland Roots is a USL team, which is like the second level of American soccer, have a phenomenal following. and they've kind of been an itinerant soccer team playing around Oakland on different fields. And when the A's decided we're going to play in Sacramento for a few years, which I still don't understand, before they move out to Vegas, the Bees decided to make that move, and the Roots and the Soul came in as well. So, there's going to be something there. Maybe not major league, but, why not have something that people can support with an ownership group that isn't full of fucking virtuoso. The Roots are USL. But, you know, the, the ownership group that owns the Roots and the Soul and the Bees, they want Oakland to have something, considering every major league has abandoned the city, because the owner of the Oakland A's is a flapping vagina, who won't work with the city, and wants it his way. I mean, this is a city that doesn't exactly have money pouring everywhere, from a lot of different spots. And the mayor said, "Dude, we'll put you right there, near the port. We'll give you some space to build an entertainment district. We'll do, what we can. We want to revitalize this area." And, Jed Fisher was just like, "No, I don't want a stadium there. It's too close to the water, da 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 da." And it's just like, dude, you want your freaking, cake and eat it too. God damn it, Dolomite, just calling me out, man.
What did he say? What did he say?
He said Mac vagina shaming now.
Talk that shit, white boy from Cleveland. It's sad, man. It's a sad state of affairs when you see a city. I'm 47 years old, and my entire life there's been big time sports in the city I was born in. The Oakland A's. I came into the world with the Oakland A's as World Series champs. And in my adolescent years, they were going to World Series. And they were a dominant team. They beat my favorite team, the Giants, in '89 when I was 12. And then they were kind of consistent through the 2000s, the Moneyball years, but never World Series good. And then one day, it's like no one wanted to go to that stadium.
Yeah.
And it's not like it wasn't violent in the 80s. It's not like it wasn't violent down there in the 70s. It was the most convenient stadium to get in and out of.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you say, I don't know how you feel about it. I think it has more to do with amenities, especially as you get through the 2000s.
Yeah.
These older stadiums, especially considering when you look at Oakland Alameda Coliseum, formerly, now known as O.co or whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
Was a cookie cutter stadium in the mold of like Riverfront and the mold of like, the various memorial stadiums that we had, the Astrodome, things like that, right? Those started going away in the mid 90s, right? It started with Camden Park, in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Orioles built that beautiful stadium right downtown. And then you started seeing more stadiums pop up back in the metropolis, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
That weren't cookie cutters. Every team had their own space. Oakland didn't do that. And well, there's kind of a reason for it, because outside of that port, which we have seen lose more and more shipping to other places, there wasn't the fiscal ability to build multiple stadiums for multiple teams, right? And the weather better than anybody here. Say you get an owner that's like, sure, I'll take whatever I can get in Oakland. It's cheaper to build an open air stadium, right?
Yeah, dude, you don't need a dome,
right? So, but the thing is, a lot of ownership now want dome stadiums because what you can have. What sounds great in a dome stadium? Concerts, fucking, all.
But you
that
have
stuff.
it next door. That's the thing. You always had that next door because what you guys call Oracle, which was just where the Warriors played, is in the parking lot. It's one of those places where the Warriors played, and they have Warriors at a decent size arena.
It was a decent size
basketball
venue.
arena.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. That's what ownership wants. They think that I'm going to get this gem of a stadium. We'll make it indoor. We'll dome it, and then I can have all these events there, even though there's a perfectly great concert, venue right across the street. They don't give a shit. For them, it's how can I get the city, the county, the state to fund my new stadium, but I somehow reap all the revenue, you know? And that's the shitty part, because you get cities like Miami and counties like Miami-Dade County that'll be paying off Miami Marlins Park until 2047 if they make all their payments on time. And by that point, how old will Miami Marlins Park be, Jason? 30 years
It'll be over
old.
20. Yeah.
It'll be 30 years old. And if you think that ownership group isn't going to be like, we are going to need a new stadium with more luxury boxes, with more of this shit, so we can be viable in Major League Baseball, you're wrong. And the thing is, the Marlins are one of the fucking most awful teams in Major League Baseball, and they're horribly run. They don't draft well. They don't do shit well. But, ever since the Loria days, they've completely robbed that city and have gotten away with it.
Mm-hmm. No, it's when you take a look at some of these places that are left without teams or these abandoned stadiums, like someone was talking about Pontiac, in Detroit or Michigan, and what that sold for like $300,000 some years back. Somebody bought it. What did they ever do with it? I don't remember.
Dude, I couldn't tell you. All I know is I remember my buddy saying that they did a big flea market there a couple times.
It's just like there's all this usable land that gets used up by these stadiums, or in Oakland's case, to your point about amenities, there was never an infrastructure build out around it because you had low income housing that surrounds the stadium. So there was never like, after the game, let's go grab a drink. You literally had to leave that area and go downtown if you wanted to stay in Oakland. And a lot of Oakland fans, because of the way the Bay Area is constructed, live in different cities. They don't all live in Oakland, live in Hayward and all these other places. So there's a reason why these teams also wanted to go down south to San Jose, because it's a bigger, more expensive media market.
Yeah.
In the southern part of the Bay Area, where the hub of Silicon Valley is, that's where all the money is too. And those cats do like going to sporting events. So you have this stadium that you can't really do anything cool with, because also these are the people that are doing 9 things at once, and watching a baseball game isn't one of them.
Yeah.
Watching a football game isn't one of them. So you need to have, I think I told you when I was in Vegas doing EDC at the racetrack, to bring in a younger crowd, they were going to take out this one section of seats and put like a wading pool in it.
Jesus Christ.
Because you need to have things to bring people in that don't care about left turns.
Yeah. And that, dude, they're having a baseball game at a NASCAR track next season.
Why?
Well, I hate NASCAR. Okay. I fucking hate it. Nothing bores me more. Jesus, Sith Lord. Oh man.
By the way, my daughter brings me shea butter. My daughter, whenever I go up, my daughter looks at me, she goes, "Dad, do you need shea butter?"
Sith Lord, you can't just say it's black folks selling candles and shea butter, because there's a bunch of white people there that made their own candles that are showing up to the same flea market to peddle their wares as well. But like NASCAR, wildly popular mid 90s, you're going to mid 2000s, but then it got ridiculously expensive to field teams. And you got to think NASCAR is also a consortium. Like the person that owns NASCAR owns like 28 of the 34 venues they race at.
Jesus.
They pushed out a lot of independent track owners to kind of like just solidify their hold. So like it's not a good sport, but they're, they still have their, it's still a viable TV product. Obviously, it's on it's streams and it's on cable and all that shit. Blah 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 blah.
People go out to watch it.
Yeah, but they're not getting anywhere near the numbers they used to. Well, what's a way to do that? Let's cross promote with another sport that is seeing dwindling numbers, Major League Baseball. So it's kind of like two 60-year-old drunk dudes leaning against each other just so they can stay upright. Like that's how it is, man. And the thing is, it's Major League Baseball is going to continue to lose ground to the NBA and the NFL. The NFL is top dog right now. The NBA is doing a great job of playing catch up. Their TV deal is going to almost double. When the new one goes into effect. And Major League Baseball can't catch basketball now. A lot of that has to do with
why do you think that is?
Well, honestly, 94 killed a lot of goodwill that Major League Baseball had built up. Then you had the Sosa McGuire home run chase, right? Which drove up some interest. But you know what you don't find a lot of these days? Young people at baseball games. It's a very old, kind of stodgy, traditionalist crowd that really leans into baseball. I enjoy the sport because I still think it's fun. I love the Guardians, but it also gives me a lot of time to drink and make a fool of myself out in public. So, like, I'm always appreciative of that. Yeah, Jolomite, you're absolutely correct. And that's why you're seeing kind of this course correction under Rob Manfred and whoever the next commissioner is going to be, where they do have inner city programs. Major League Baseball is doing a huge investment into Little League and the Cal Ripken League to try and get kids to continue to play baseball, minor league baseball. But you know what really undid baseball at like the Little League level was the blow up of soccer. It's cheaper.
Yep.
You don't have a kid throwing a hard leather bound ball at another kid, And
the surgeries aren't as common. The
No.
Tommy John surgeries in youth baseball is crazy. You don't need that to play youth soccer.
Well, dude, it's like I told you, The Athletic did an amazing article about Tommy John surgeries and people who had one or two even. And 70% of the Tommy John surgeries over a 5-year period ending in 2023, 70% of them were done on high school kids. 70%. That's nuts. Right? So like it's Matthew, if you think hockey's boring on TV, I get it. But go watch a game live. It's a fucking blast. But yeah, I mean, Major League Baseball's lost ground to soccer. And now we have MLS, which is like slowly kind of creeping up the sports ladder, I guess. I would even argue MLS is more popular than the NHL in this country right now, because we've had you've seen this great period of expansion. People like David Beckham own teams now, so you have a lot of very charismatic, recognizable ownership. And we're seeing more and more. Newry, soccer is much cheaper than baseball, I promise.
Travel baseball is super expensive because of the equipment that goes into it. Travel soccer is expensive. Travel anything is expensive. Travel hoop is expensive.
But I mean, and I'd argue intermediate like travel hockey is the most expensive because that gear is stupid, like pricey. But we're seeing more soccer only stadiums being built. That's become more and more common. And the thing is we are a society of like, we have to be constantly entertained, right? People forget that the United States finally formed a professional rugby league that's doing quite well, for a sport that's still growing. Premier League lacrosse has done very well, considering that, they don't have, like most states, you can't find a lacrosse program. But it's the sports pie is getting more and more divvied up, right? And Major League Baseball is the one that's losing ground to, like football and basketball.
And the combat sports are losing so much ground to impoverished Eastern European nations. It's like,
Yes.
why even bother trying to compete?
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like, we all know I love boxing, and we've got some amazing American fighters, but they're not in like the marquee divisions outside of Bud Crawford, and Bud Crawford is not what you would call a talkative man. Like, he doesn't like doing press, he doesn't like doing interviews, um, but what he does is he goes out and dominates. And this is a dude who's already won belts, and I believe 3 weight classes. And I could see him like making the jump up to like 160, and maybe trying to meet Canelo down at 160. So that would be a big money fight. Nuri, I would even say EPL is probably more popular in the United States now than Major League Baseball. I'm even getting up to watch EPL matches, and I hate most things English, but I've decided I'm probably going to pick a squad. Probably one that'll get relegated after the season, but I can't just pick a winner. Now, Sith, 7-on-7 football, I saw a lot of it when I was stationed in Kansas. I mean, it's different. It's just like, the difference between like rugby 15s and rugby 7s are like Canadian football and American football. But I mean, it's still fun. It's different. But oh man, miss me with that F1 shit, dude. I can't stand car racing. I can't do it. Especially F1, where you have like 4 teams that are the only ones that are essentially guaranteed to win a title every year. No thanks, man. Yeah, man, youth travel sports rap it's awful. It's kind of killed, the community aspect of like high school sports, where that's what you did on Friday nights. Um, you went to the high school game, or during the week you went to the high school basketball games. Now everything's very AAU, very travel driven. Um, so it really does uh, inhibit the ability to kind of have a community based like program to get behind. And that was that. And let's face it, that was the whole thing about making sure that collegiate players stayed amateur. You know, well, the whole town, the whole city comes out to support their alma mater. Da 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 da. Yeah, dude, but the universities, you know, has a printing press of money off the backs of these players. So, you know, I always hated that mindset and that idea of amateurism. It's a joke. Um, you know, what is the point, of if you're good enough to get paid to play something, that's where you want to be. Like this whole amateur model that the NCAA has tried to hold on to forever, and the amateur model in the Olympics especially is a fucking joke. And it's a shame, man. Oh, dude, Sith Lord, I mean, I'm all for getting drunk. Just don't try and give me Skyline chili. Like that shit is gross. I'm not for it. I don't like it. And oh, dude, come on, Sith Lord. You've seen an episode where I'm enjoying White Claws. It's not a lot of calories, gets me a good buzz. I'm here for it. But yeah, man. Breakdancing, Matthew. I mean, Raygun, number one ranked break dancer in the world. I don't know how they came by that ranking. But it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, this is the sad part. We're hitting the part of sports fandom where, I mean, the NFL just passed through where they're going to allow private equity firms the ability to invest in NFL teams. They can't have any more than, I believe, 10 to 15% of the franchise. But like that's it. The Big 12 is getting ready to sell the conference naming rights to some kind of sponsor. So it'll be like Big 12 football brought to you by Prudential Insurance or some nonsense. Or there's even been floating, an idea floated that they'll call it the big whatever sponsor. So like this is the way of things. When we look at it, at the dollars and cents, that is being spent on teams, forcing cities to pay for publicly funded arenas and venues for these teams to play in. It makes sense to start inviting, private equity into the sports. But how long do we have until one of these old fucking white dudes decides that he wants to sell his team because his kids don't want it, and he decides to sell the team to like BlackRock. So I don't know where this, how it starts. I just know it probably is not going to end well. And honestly, I this is just my hot take. I think we need to do promotion and relegation in college football. I think we should do it in professional sports. I think it adds a lot more excitement to the regular season. And it could make, you know, can you imagine like a team like North Dakota State, bam, they get promoted and Vanderbilt drops down to FCS or something like that. So, I think that would be really rad, but we won't ever see it because that's not an American affectation. And, that's just how it is. Um, but yeah, the media addressed steroids in Major League Baseball was prior to game 1 of the '88 World Series. Oh, well, yeah, I'm not surprised, Rap. I mean, fucking Canseco and McGuire on those Bash Brothers teams. Granted, there was a lot of good pitching. You had like Dave Stewart was a starter. I'm trying to think of Ron Darling was there. Oh, dude, Milkbone Crusader, you're absolutely right. The relegation will never happen. And I mean, Virtuoso, wouldn't you say it'd be the SEC brought to you by Chick-fil-A? I think that would probably be the more apt one than Raising Cane's.
Raising Cane's is in LA now.
Really?
Is in Cal? Yeah, it's in the West Coast now. Yeah. Sorry, my son called.
Oh, dude, that's not a problem. I figured it was little dude. I was like, that's a little person's voice. So.
Oh, you could hear him. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't know you could hear him.
No.
But we're doing the show on the phone.
Yeah.
So.
And he's like, Dad, check this out, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, he did. He literally was like, Dad, I drew 100 dinosaurs, and I want to show you each dinosaur, and you have to identify each dinosaur by my drawing. I'm like, I'm gonna fail at this, but okay.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. But yeah, we were just talking about like how I think we should have promotion relegation, and it'll never happen. It'll never happen because of those rich the rich ownership groups that have bought into it. But I just want Joel, I want you to know, James Dolan is the owner that's going to, or excuse me, the governor that's going to the governor's meetings, and he's voting against the league's budget. He's the only one that came out and said that he'd vote against it.
Which league?
The NBA. Because essentially Adam Silver is consolidating TV programming, right? With the new TV deal. And it's kind of diminishing regional sports networks. Now, keep in mind, Bally Sports is owned by Diamond Sports Groups, and they're already in the middle of a bankruptcy, right? There were 12 Major League Baseball teams and like 10 NBA teams that all had their games on Bally Sports networks, and they went bankrupt. So like the regional sports network is kind of dying already because their streaming apps are absolute ass. And when, like, say I'm a Guardians fan and I'm in Ohio and I have Bally Sports Ohio, like if I'm below Columbus, the game's blacked out because I'm out of the area, which is ridiculous if I'm in the same state. So like it's not a good product. But what does James Dolan own, as well as the New York Knicks and the New York Rangers? The Madison, like the RSN, where the Knicks and the Rangers are on. So he's going to lose money in that, and he is fucking furious. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna be like, he wrote this long drawn out like PR thing saying he was going to vote against the league budget. And I'm just like, dude, your peers already hate you. Like most of the fan base hates you. Like, and honestly, you're a billionaire who owns Madison Square Garden, one of the most iconic sports venues ever, right? It's real estate in New York City, and you own 2 sports teams. You losing money is only, and you bitching about it is only going to make, you know, the fan base in New York City hate you even more. You know, like nobody wants to fucking hear a billionaire belly aching about losing money when the people that you overcharge for tickets are sitting there like, well, I live in New York City. I made $4,000 this month between my job, my second job, and then doing Uber and Lyft on the weekends. But I still am down to 2 packs of ramen for the last week of the month. Yeah, they want to hear about your fucking financial struggles. No, dude, like you
But
clueless
is there
twat.
something? But is there something to be said though? Is there something to be said about people that because of the way sports is reported, it's reported in this way that it's supposed to be relatable to a certain audience. So we always view these things like cap space and budget management and who you're going to pay this time. It's always viewed almost like how Republicans talk about balancing a budget. And so I do think I'm not disagreeing with you because I do think there's a very large segment of the population that doesn't watch sports for that one reason.
Yeah.
But I also think there's another segment of the population that loves to empathize with owners because especially like that middle management, petite bourgeois kind of element of society where they're like, I know what that's like as well because I
Mm-hmm.
try to get the best out of my employees and yada 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 yada. I've always been fascinated by that because those are the people that can actually afford games now. Those are the people that actually can wear the merchandise. Like when we were out with my son's mom and my daughter and stuff. My daughter was asking my son's mom about going to a Warriors game, and she had for Christmas one year we went and had box seats.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. She works hard and has a very PMC job.
Yeah.
But career rather. And she's like, I can't afford to barely go to a game because just the tickets are so expensive. And
Yeah.
she's a huge Warriors fan that actually does go to the game. She does have the merchandise and stuff like that. But there used to be a time, and people are gonna say you're talking about capitalism. It's like, yeah, I get it, but there used to be a time where we could afford to wear the stuff because there was like the starter brand stuff that maybe you couldn't get, but then there was the shirt teak,
Yep. Yep.
like lower end
Yep.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Mike says Jason fumbled. I'm glad you guys have never seen her because then you really get mad at me. But yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing though, is this is what the owners want. They don't want the riffraff around anymore. You know? They want that, you know, buttoned up, looks good on TV kind of thing. Like they don't want, this is what kills me. Like, we're gonna make this Cleveland centric because this is what I know best, right? The dog pound. It's been a
Yeah,
huge part of the Browns,
yeah.
right? Dude, I guarantee you, Haslam moves this team out of Cleveland Browns, or it's now Huntington Bank Stadium, right? They move. He gets his dream spot in Brook Park, or even another spot still in downtown Cleveland. I'd fucking put money on it that dog pound gets shrunk considerably down because you know what he
Mm-hmm.
can put around that. Like he can build other boxes, other fancier seats where people are going to pay more money to not watch the game. And then dickheads like me and Dr. Claw, we're down at Booth, you know, we're down at Booth's Midtown, like having people bump into us as we sit at the bar and try and watch the game, you know, because that's where this is all going. You know, that's exactly where this is all going. It's going to be a very corporate type thing where regular folks can't go to the games. Or if we
Mm-hmm.
do, you and I worked overtime for 2 years and we got
Yes.
nosebleed seats, you know, like that's
Yes.
That's
I had
where
those
it's
seats.
going.
So my birthday is in August, and August in San Francisco is very cold nights. And where the Giants played, I'm a Giants fan, is damn near past. It's like the outskirts of San Francisco where Candlestick Park was. And that was my birthday present. My dad was like, this is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like 25, maybe $30 a ticket at that time. And the Giants were not that great in the 80s.
Yeah.
They had a little run, but
Let's
that
see.
was it. But I still could, a guy that was struggling could still get his kid the stuff that you needed. Do you have a ticket stub for back in the day?
I finally got to go to the Horseshoe. I think it was 5 years ago. I saw Ohio State just beat the shit out of Nebraska. Ohio Stadium is 102, 103,000 seats.
I know some crazy number like that.
At the very back of the U, because that's how the stadium's shaped. At like the curve, at the very top was my seat. And my ticket was $150.
Jesus Christ. And you're so high up. When you're that high up, you're afraid to lean too much.
Oh yeah.
Because you will fall over.
Yep.
Oh yeah, dude. I remember that.
And the thing is, it's like I had the best seat in the house. I had great sight lines the entire game. It was phenomenal. Like when the band was marching up, because they march up through the main gate into the stadium, I can just look over the side. There it was, like it was fucking rad as shit. Hey Matthew, I actually talked about that with one of my old professors on a special show we did about the flight of professional sports from like the major metropolis into the burbs and just other spaces. So it was, looks like two lumberjacks on screen. Well.
Our heat wave is over now, so I had to protect myself. And there's dragonflies don't bite, right?
I thought they did.
Do they bite? Does anyone know? Because there's can you hear the dragonfly flying around?
Yeah.
If you see me looking up, there's a massive dragonfly that has come out. And I think I'm fucking with him because I don't come out here that much in the night. And
he's like, who is this man in my space?
Yeah. He's like the neighborhood watch of the rest of the scary bugs that live out here. Like all I need is him to call the scorpions and the snakes and be like, there's a human sitting at the table.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Cleveland rocks. You're right. Downtown Cleveland without the Browns, dude, it would be weird as shit. It's just like if the Wizards actually left DC, like that would be, when they were threatening to move to Northern Virginia. But you got to keep in mind when the Wizards built Capital One, they knocked out several city blocks of Chinatown and displaced like several thousand people. So the fact that they would just get up and leave that empty building after displacing that many people and destroying so many local businesses, like, come on, man. Granted, it's capitalism 101. It's professional sports 101. But luckily there was like a 75-year-old black woman state senator who was just like, I can't vote yes for this. My Irish dad pulled his truck over on I-95 because a dragonfly got in and he
This thing is massive. I can see his face. I've never seen a bug so big. I can make out facial features.
Yeah, he's got like a beard. He's smoking a cigarette right now. He's like, got something for you, bro.
I've never it's like, Jesus Christ. What a chiseled jaw you have, Mr. fucking Dragonfly.
I mean, yeah, and the thing is, he's like, my name's not Dragonfly. It's Juan. And you're just like, God damn, bro.
Yeah. And his cape. He's got his duster. He fucking flicks his duster open.
He like pulls out a whole pistol and he just starts tapping on the trigger guard like, you finishing up anytime soon,
You know what actually did fly by? Have you ever seen a tarantula hawk?
No. What the fuck is that?
It looks like a massive black wasp.
Oh,
I mean, massive.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, we have tarantulas here. Yeah, they eat tarantulas.
No.
Did Jason bang the dragonflies?
Well, he's been down there a little while, Matt. Like he might have.
Oh, that would really suck if the animal kingdom was looking for me on some shit like that.
He took Mrs. Wan to fucking Jam City, and now he's really pissed off at her.
Yeah, see, Hunter says tarantula hawks are evil things. They're fucking massive, dude. I think someone hit it with a bat.
What
It's big.
Did it rip the bat from the dude's hands and just take it off?
No, it didn't. It didn't. It fell, and then it kind of like it lived for like 3 days after.
God damn.
And we didn't know how to do anything because we were all afraid to step on it because we was like, nah, dude, whatever you step on is going through your shoe.
See, like, man, I don't fuck around with that. Like people, like I got buddies that moved to Australia. They're like, "Come on down." I'm like, "Fuck you, dude. No, there's no fucking way I'm going to Australia, man." People are like, "Yeah,
I'm gonna try to find them.
Snakes just crawl up through the toilet." What? Why? You know, hey, we'll go into the outback. Why the fuck would I want to go in the outback?
Snakes just crawl up in the toilet.
Like, a kangaroo looks like it lifts more weights than I do. Yeah, I want to be in the outback with one of those. Fuck you.
Yeah,
man.
dude. And after seeing kangaroos fight people.
Nah, dude. No thanks.
Okay, here I found a picture for you of the tarantula hawk.
What in the world?
So here's one. So you can see how big it is.
Why would anybody put one in his hand? No.
I've been told by someone that if you don't fuck with them, they don't mess with you. But yeah, someone hit it with a very large object because it was underneath our friend's car, the guy that lives in the front before Ben moved here, and I saw it, and I you know how you see something when you're kind of like walking and you jump back.
Yeah.
I jumped back, and I was like, dude, what the fuck is that, dude? And he goes, I don't know. He goes, is it a wasp? Is it a bee? I was like, I think it's a demon something. And then we had to look it up. I took a picture of it and looked it up, and it was a tarantula hawk. Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. And yeah, Nuri, I did. Camel spiders are the worst too. Look like face huggers from Aliens. No thanks. Dude, they do, Jason. They're terrifying. And the thing is, if you didn't hang your boots upside down, that's where they wanted to hang out. And their poison is ridiculously venomous. Like you go immediately into necrosis if you get bit. Yeah. So I'm good. Fuck all these weird creatures. Like, dude, you know what? Australia, fuck koalas too. Okay, fuck them. All right.
Are they violent? Are koalas supposed to be violent?
They are too cute and cuddly for them to. I'm convinced that them being that cute and cuddly, they are violent. That's how they lure you in.
I wouldn't doubt it. Doubt it.
No thanks, man. I'm good with just leaving nature as it is. I'll leave you alone. I won't even come near you. Just stay the fuck away from me.
There's wild dogs here, and that's enough for me. I dig the wild dogs. I don't have to have my own dog. I can just they're like hood dudes. Jay, what up? Hey, what up?
Yeah. They walk by and there's a rat in their mouth, and you're like, "Hey, man, thank you. I really didn't want that thing on my doorstep anymore." Yeah.
There's another animal here. It looks like a mix between like a coyote and a fox. I forget the name of it. And one morning I got up like real early because I can't. I don't know if you're the same way. I forget. You are a early morning workouter.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if I don't, I will not do it.
I'm the same way. I'm 3 a.m. Let's go get it. Right. But I like to get up and do cardio and stuff. But I can't run here because it's dark.
Yeah.
And I live. You can't see anything because I live on top of a hill and it's dirt road and there's a lot of nothing and there's snakes and there's tarantulas and there's scorpions and there's crazy fox coyotes. And one morning, it was probably like 7 or 8. I got up and I'm walking down this hill that I'm going to run back up. And one of these fox coyotes things just shot out of the brush with a fucking squirrel in his mouth. And he's just like fucking running. He sees me and he's like, shit, a human. And he dropped the fucking squirrel and he just like shot up another hill. And I was like, what the fuck? And I went down and I see this dead ass. I was like, dude, this is why I can't do my 3 a.m. run anymore. We don't have gyms that open up that early out here.
You got to think you just fucked up that dude's breakfast. All he was trying to do was get breakfast. And you fucked it all up. That coyote fox creature went back to like his little den and just sat there like, what the fuck am I supposed to eat now? Mark.
Well, I told you, every time I see one of these wild animals out here and I get scared. I told you about that time, right? Was I talking to you or was it Tucson where I was running? It was a nice day. And I need to show you the pathway. So I go all the way down to the main road and I start running up and there's this like trail I can take that always smells like death. And I don't want to know what died over there because I live not too far from a little small body dump. And so,
yeah. Probably best that you don't run at 3 a.m. Probably for the best.
Right? Just like, who is that? No one. I'm no one.
The sad thing is, guys, if we don't hear from Jason for a couple weeks, he's gonna pop up on the internet as like some sex slave on the dark web. He's in Romania and he's on one of like Andrew Tate's websites. He's just like, Jason's like, I don't want to do this, bro. ACAB cooking was a joke. I don't want to be on film.
Andrew Tate just sitting there with this, make it clap.
You know what to do, Jason. You pleasure her and I pleasure myself. Oh, no. No, Andrew Tate, no.
Not the movie Switch, no. But Mac, I shit you not. I was running and I saw a snake and the snake didn't see me because it was like coming out. So the snake is like this, right? Coming out. And I was kind of running up and I saw the snake and I went, ah! And the snake looked at me and the snake went, ah! And the snake ran back. And then I ran back. And I was like, wait a minute. I think the snake is scared of me. And so as I'm walking back now and I'm like looking, right? I'm looking. And I just kind of like start running. I was thinking, I was like, I think I scared the snake because no one runs here, first of all. And second of all, what if that snake was racist and he went back to his snake hiding place and was like, dear, I just went out today to go grab a rodent for groceries. And did you know there's black humans in this neighborhood?
And then the wife snake's like, you know what? We need to move now. We need to move. This is Mexico,
Like I said, and I thought the woman's name was like, that's why we came here in the first place, to get away from the riffraff. What's next? So in my mind, I was thinking about it from the snake's perspective of me being kind of like a terrorist in his neighborhood. Like I'm fucking up his good time because Americans move down here and they're like, oh my God, there's snakes. I was like, who would have thought there's snakes on a fucking dirt road?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Karen snake. Because you can imagine the snake telling the story to his friends at like the snake bar on the weekends.
Yeah, and the thing is, the dude snake, his name is Sam. And the wife is flat-assed compared to other snake female, peers.
Oh my God. The snake is... guys, I was out the other day minding my own. It was a beautiful day. Belly to the ground. And here steps this Negro human just, hip-hopping his way down the road.
You should have seen him. The shorts were short. That ass was fat. I could not believe my eyes. And cardio. Oh, cardio. Ha. We do snake CrossFit around here. Cardio. Oh.
I feel like because of the amount of bullshit people dump down there, that there probably is like a really nice animal kingdom with CrossFit gyms.
It's like Zootopia, you know, like
Yeah. there's just people have been dumping so much bullshit down there. I'm like, yeah, these guys are building something really nice underneath all that brush. I kind of want to see that wonder world, but I don't want to get killed by an animal.
no. That's right, Matt. A Karen Snake with no dumper complaining about rap music.
Right.
And
could hear the
sweetheart,
hippity hop all night.
he was listening to that gentleman named Kendrick. Oh,
Oh God.
just oh.
And he lunged at me. That's what he's gonna say. He lunged at me.
He reached for me. Can you believe it? Our community, and he just comes in here and he went to get me. He tried to step on me. What do we pay taxes for if the Fox Coyote cops aren't keeping him out?
The Fox Coyote cops, Mac, I shit you not. I asked Ben Burgess, who walks his dog in the morning. I said, Ben, have you ever seen one of these dogs? He goes, yes. I said, did this scare the shit out of you? He goes, yes. Kendrick Epstein. It's one of those things, dude, where I love living here. I love nature. I love seeing bugs eat the bugs you hate and shit like that. I think that's actually pretty cool. But I will say, running into that snake and the way he reacted to me, I was a little offended. I was a little offended.
Yeah.
I was like, I think he saw color first and didn't see the man.
That snake went back home and was like, I could handle the white crypto guys coming down here. Okay, because they stick to themselves. Okay. They make their little enclaves and they don't come down here. But we have to draw a line, dear. We have to draw a line. This is something has got to give. I'm writing a sternly worded letter to the wild dog mayor, and he better fix this.
I could see that too. I could. Wild dog mayor came at me the other day. He came at me.
See? And the thing is, he's got a whole group of cronies with him. He's like Eric Adams up in New York,
Stop and frisk on you.
That's right. It's going to be funny. We're going to see Jason on Instagram as the only man that got stopped by a whole pack of wild dogs, and he's not getting mauled, but he's got like his hands on the wall and the dog's like patting his pockets.
If there's any way you can do an AI recreation of that. I told you when I first moved here, because I'm from the hood, and you know how, and you know this from your neighborhood, when you see a dog out from their house, you think I'm going to get bit, so you jumped on a car or you ran away.
Oh yeah, I stayed.
I never lived anywhere where there's literal wild dogs, and wild dogs out here aren't going to hurt you if you don't fuck with them. And I would be going to the park to go like run laps and stuff at the park, and as I walked down, if I saw a dog, I would get scared and I would try to play it off and act like I got a phone call. Like I see a dog, like, oh, and I grab my phone, like,
hey, Jim. Yeah. No, I'm just sitting here having getting ready to go work out. And that dog's just like, why the fuck did he pull out his phone? Like, I want anything to do with his ass. I'm just minding my business.
That's like maybe the snake found out through the fucking Wild Kingdom grapevine that this human isn't really a pussy. He's quite violent, that human.
The dog's like, yeah, I got the letter from Snake. God, racist dick. Now we gotta follow this guy. Like the other dogs are like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god, I walk past his terrors all the time. He's just out there eating raisin and carrot salad. Like, I don't know, like, how dangerous could he be?
You know how mad the dogs would be if they like came in my garbage and it was carrot raisin salad night. They're like,
God.
Oh Jesus.
They're like going through and they're like, oh Jesus Christ, guys. He didn't even throw out the taco. He ate the whole taco, but we got like cabbage here. Oh God.
Fuck this guy. Yeah. Oh god, yeah.
The other dog's
It's an
like,
earthy guy again.
yeah, the other dog's like, is that a radish? Yeah, man, it's a radish. Oh fuck. Yet another salad.
Heard that guy's single.
Yeah. Hey, did you ever hear him fucking? Not once. Not once.
No, no, no. Could be all the roughage. That's how I feel the animals treat me here, especially these ghetto ass horses. I need you to come here, Mac, just so you can meet these ghetto ass horses.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to meeting ghetto ass horse because I can just see the attitude the horse gives me. And then the thing is, now that we've planted this seed, I'm gonna be like walking around just like fucking horse, you know? That dog spying on us, Jason. God damn it. Sam Snake decided to send another letter. Hey, he's got a friend now, and he doesn't look like the nice crypto guys. God, more of the riffraff from America coming down here. We're just trying to live a good life. And they just keep coming down here.
So mad. The snake is writing angry letters.
He's got like his tail's wrapped around like a penny found in the trash. And he's just like, this can't stand.
DC Joe Buck says, "Can I ride a horse?" Joe, no. First of all, fuck no. And you can go horseback riding at the beach, which is about 5 miles from my house, where the horses are to ride. You can also ride a camel here, by the way. There's camel rides here.
Oh, fuck that, dude. I rode a camel once in Afghanistan, and meanest little fucker I've ever met in my life. He spit in my face
Really?
as soon
They're
as I
mean?
got off. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Do they really?
Oh, dude, yeah. The camels in Afghanistan, dude, you got to think they got it rough. And this guy like had like a colada, just like this walled in kind of community, and you'll live there with like 20 members, even more of your extended family. So he had one he lived in, and then one that was empty. And we were like on a week-long mission, and we're 3 days in, and we are just sucking dick for beer money. Like we are in bad shape. And so he's like, you guys can stay here. So he like slaughters some goats. He brings the camels out. Like horses are super expensive in Afghanistan, and he had one.
Mm-hmm.
So it had like this horse blanket with like all these like silver bells and stuff on it, you know. And he's like, who wants to like ride a camel? And I was like, fuck it, let's go. So like I took my body armor off, and I still had my rifle, and I got on the back, and this camel was just like, fuck you, I ain't moving. And then like the dude who owned it like kind of poked it with a stick, and he got up and he kind of trotted around the colot, and then he stopped. And I was like, well, I want to get down now. And he's like, the guy who owned him was like telling him to like kneel, and he won't.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing's like fucking like 8 feet tall. And I'm like,
yeah, it's a camel.
Oh, yeah, I'm like, I'm not jumping off this bitch. Fuck that. That's like what I need to do. Break my leg on a mission. Because they're just gonna be like, hey, wrap some tape around it. We got 4 more days, you know, that type of shit. And it finally knelt, and I went to pet it, and you just see his like lips pull back, and then just
oh,
right.
Oh.
And I'm just sitting there like, oh, it was like a bad movie, you know. It was like thick and viscous, and it was just so gnarly. And then like the guy feels horrible, so he like brings over this water, and like you never use the water, you just don't. Because unfortunately, a lot of their water comes from like irrigation ditches.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this, there's not a lot of what you would use traditionally as fertilizer there. So a lot of it's fertilized with human shit, you know? So like you don't touch Afghan water. Dude, I immediately just started wiping my face. You know, it was just so bad, dude. And like I just felt so gross the rest of the night. I was just sitting there like, ugh, it's just so thick. I couldn't get it all off. And yeah, Lefty, you're right, man. He probably was like, who let the white dude in here? He smells like shit, which I did. I'm not gonna lie, I totally did. But yeah, it was an interesting experience. And after that, I was like, fuck camels. Fuck the one with 1 humps. Fuck the ones with 2. Fuck them all. I hate these things. They're mean. They're surly. And they smell worse than I did, which is saying something, you know, but It
So
was an
you won't come
experience.
here and do a camel ride on the
Oh,
beach. Is
fuck
what you're
no.
saying.
No. There's only one
A romantic camel ride.
only one camel related thing I'm interested in when I get there, and that's a camel toe and not on the camel, if you get my drift.
I do. I wish I had a sound effect. I hope this Wi-Fi thing gets fixed quick because I'm really sad about the whole situation.
I mean, this is the shitty part, man. I'm pumped you got down there. You know, cheaper to live. You get to experience something really cool. But I mean, Mexico is not known for its like infrastructure. So like when you're like, hey man, I'm moving down there, I'm like, how's he gonna shower? Because I've been to Mexico a couple times. And I've been to some dodgy areas of Mexico where they're like, hey, you want a bath? Cool, communal bathroom. All right, no sweat. And it's just like a giant like oil drum with like rainwater in it. And I'm like,
It's not that bad where I am, but I came here and it was the landlord assumed that I knew I had a well and I knew how the system worked and how to switch the water on and off. And so the first 6 months, the water was off and on a lot because when I actually moved here a month after they got municipal water. I didn't know that. You know, there's not a lot of disclosure when you move here. There's also not a lot of background checking, for better or for worse. And so they would just shut, and it happens still. Water just gets shut off. No rhyme or reason, no warning. Sometimes they'll throttle it, and then sometimes it's just gone. It's just off. And when I first came here, the water was off for like a week.
Oh God, dude!
And I didn't know that there was a well that was filled. And so I'm using like bottles of water in the shower. It's very cold.
Oh yeah,
You know what
I know
it's
that
like.
struggle.
You loofah yourself and get all the dead skin off and get a bottle of water. And you know, I had to do that for a few times. A few different times that happened for long periods of time. And then one day the landlord goes, I just realized you don't know it's called a pila. You have a pila. I was like, I don't know what that is. She goes, let me show you. And she showed me where to shut the water off and connect to the pila and the pump system. And then I had to learn how to prime a pump. I'm from the city.
Yep.
Why would I know how to prime a pump?
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, I know how to live hard because I did it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to do it. You know, it's like in my little reading group. You know, I told you about the cantankerous younger people that want the thing to happen really bad. I'm like, you ever been without a shower for a month? And they're like, no,
dude.
Would that happen? Yes, that would absolutely
happen. Easy. That's the first thing that's going to happen.
Yeah. I was like, we're going to lose power. We'll lose water. I was like, do you know how to filter water? Well, no. Oh, well, that's kind of important. You know, like, well, we could just take rainwater, right? No, dude, you don't want to drink straight rainwater, you dumbass. God, can you start a fire, bro? Well, why would I have to do that? I'd have a lighter. Not always the case, my friend.
No, it is. It is. It's a humbling experience, and it's not for everybody because a lot of people just say, "Fuck it, I can't." I want the creature comforts of, you know, like again, where I live, there's no food. If you speak the language, you can call a few places and they'll deliver some things to you. But most of us, if we want food, we literally have to drive down and get it, or you just fucking cook yourself.
Yeah.
So those creature comforts of, you know, ordering everything up on your phone. There's no Uber here in my city, so you have to know how to communicate with cab drivers, or take the buses.
Or I don't know if you saw, Google made some earbuds that translates for you.
I saw that.
Yeah, like that's big news, and I'm like, yeah, that's gonna go over as well as Google Glass did.
Or I could fucking just learn how to speak Spanish.
You could do that.
Wild concept. Yeah,
that is probably the best thing you can do, because there are Kevin Costner used urine in water. Wow, man. Wow, dude. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you see these survivalists, like Bear Grylls was like, you can drink your own urine 3 times and you'll be fine. No, you won't. No, you fucking won't. Because when you're dehydrated and your body is just putting out like straight ammonia, that's what's in your fucking piss. Go ahead and drink that once. You're going to dehydrate faster, right? And on top of that, you're bringing all that waste that your body put out back in. You big dummy. Oh, dude. Jolemite, man, when I get my own pad, dude, I'm getting a bidet. We're going to hit societal collapse soon. Man, bro, I'm going to have a clean asshole when that happens. That's all I'm saying. It's going to be sparkling.
Oh, so I was scared to get a bidet because I was afraid I was going to like fuck up the plumbing. So I got this portable bidet.
Like one of those ones that like sit on the side and it like kind of shoots up.
No, it's like a portable thing. It's Temu started because I started looking at bidets, and then once you look at something on Temu,
bro,
it goes, "Hey Jay."
I know. I would be terrified to get a Temu bidet because either it's not going to put enough water in your asshole or you're getting like a fire hose stream straight up into your anus.
Mac. Temu goes, "Hey man, for like $2 you can get this little portable thing." And I was like, "Oh, that looks interesting. Let me see." And I travel, I go up north all the time, and it'd be nice to have a portable thing. So I get this portable thing, and I had been asking bidet questions. There's a dude, we become friends. He watches the show, and we actually do a monthly patron call. And he has a bidet, and he was actually showing me. He goes, "I installed it myself. It's actually really easy." And so I was like, "Oh, dude, I was just kind of afraid I'd fuck up the install." So I got this portable thing. He goes, "You got a super soaker for your asshole." And that's literally what it is, Mac. It's like a super soaker.
You get a gnarly shit. It's just like, this thing is not cleaning out enough. It is not doing enough. See, guys, this is why Dr. Claw is the man who smells of mahogany and expensive scotch. His bidet has heated water. There will be no cold water on Dr. Claw's asshole. No.
Dude, that's Catherine Lou's house. That toilet is so awesome, dude. That toilet is so, and there's two. There's fucking two. Oh man, I can't wait to go back and visit. I can't wait. She finally got back from Australia. I think she's still on sabbatical. First of all, her so nice, and you can just shit in the house and feel comfortable. You never know how you just don't want to shit in a stranger's house. I eat things I never eat around strangers.
Jason, chili. I don't like shitting at work. I hate it.
You've never had that.
Oh, dude, I have.
Oh my
God.
God.
Like, dude, I'm on like a more natural protein. Like, it's not like all full of artificial shit. So like my guts are like, this is much better for our health. But guess what, dude? You are gonna shit. You are gonna shit. And so like I kind of time it around lunch so I can go home and shit. Like eat my lunch, shit, go back to work, right? But like one day, dude, I was like taking a picture of like this giant Silverado, and like I have to take pictures on the inside too. So like I hop down, and you just hear my stomach like, and I was like, oh my God, this isn't good. And it like made that noise again, and I got like a stomach cramp, and I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. So like I have a golf cart that I could drive. So like, dude, I go tearing ass on this golf cart, and I like run past everybody, and I just hit fucking like kick in the bathroom door. There's like a customer washing his hands, and I'm like just like shoulder checking him to get out of the way. And dude, I got in there, and it was just, my stomach was like, okay, we're here. Just, and I'm sitting there, like I'm going through every emotion on the scale. Like I'm angry because I'm shitting at work, and then I'm dealing with loss because I'm like, I feel like so vulnerable there. I'm like, someone's gonna see my shoe and know I'm doing this horrible thing in here.
I know that.
Like, and then it's anger. Like it's back to anger for a second because I'm like, if somebody talks shit to me because they saw my shoes, I'm gonna kill them. And then it's sadness because I am shitting at work and I feel so vulnerable. Like it just was horrible, man. And I carry like these the dude wipes, you know? So like I
Yeah,
got them in
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
pocket and I'm just like, like it's all out. I'm content now. I'm at peace. And I'm like, let's go. You know, so like I cleaned up, fucking I washed my hands like 3 times. And I'm just like, I pity the person that goes in there, dude. And this loudmouth salesman is like, yo, Mac, what's up? And I like kind of like keep my head down. I'm like, hey man. And I keep walking and you hear him go, oh shit.
The seat was warm.
Dude, it just smelled awful, you know, like I'm in the photo lab and he came down and was like, bro, what did you do in there? And I'm like, that's none of your fucking business. Okay. Like I had to shit.
Joelmite says, I bet you couldn't look at yourself in the mirror.
No, dude. I just looked at the sink, Joelmite. I was just like, ugh. I violated that.
The dragonfly. The dragonfly came back. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. So when I just went up north to go see my family, I had to use the bathroom at a smaller truck stop. I usually try to plan all my stops. This was an emergency, much like you in your golf cart. And it was bad. You ever have those ones where it's like the soft serve at the Sizzler?
Oh yeah.
Where it's like the lever got pulled.
Yeah, you pulled.
And it was one of those.
Yeah.
And it was like nonstop. And people and this truck stop is where Fireball is. It's where Josh Allen. It's where he's from.
No.
Quarterback. So it's a very popular stop, but it's super small. There's only one stall, but it's a popular truck stop.
Oh God.
Right. And so, because no one knows, because I was like, okay, maybe I can hit the Fireball stop, because I knew I had about 30 more miles to go before I hit the big truck stop.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, okay, let me just hit the Fireball one. So I go to the fire. I was like, oh fuck, everybody's at the Fireball one. And I go, and the stall was open, and I'm doing my thing, and there's a lot of truckers that stop there as well, and a lot of truckers are East Indian, and this dude walks in, and he keeps moving the door. I don't have a cell phone with me or anything. I'm taking shit. This is a big time shit, right?
Yeah.
And they're looking through the crack to see
Oh.
who's sitting in the shit. And he starts ripping on me.
Oh.
We'd like to shit too.
Bro.
And I wanted to reply like, I'm not playing in here. I'm not like dicking around on my phone. I'm not primping my hair. I'm doing what you're supposed to do in the bathroom. There's just a lot. And he wouldn't stop fucking with me. He wouldn't stop fucking with me the whole time. He goes, there's a guy, he's shitting. We want to shit. He wants to do all this shit. We want to shit. And then there was, I guess he had a family or something with him.
Oh no.
And I finally get done, right? Clean up. I'm finally done. And they see my shoes and they start laughing. They start giggling. You want to do a communal shit? I've never had that happen.
Nuri, that's the worst.
Someone
in Afghanistan, what we would do is we would build shitters and we would cut oil drums in half because you have to burn all that, right? You can't dump it anywhere. You have to burn it. So like the stalls are right next to each other. And at the one fob I was at, there were 4 of them, and like half my platoon had dysentery. So we had to keep 2 clear at all times for those guys to come and almost die, right? And like, dude, I had it. So like I run to the thing, I sit down, and just like my whole body's expelling everything. And keep in mind, I have an IV bag that I'm holding up, you know, because I'm hooked up to an IV. And you see like 3 hands just holding IV bags up, and like you look over, and keep in mind the walls end at like your shoulder when you're sitting. So you look over and see your buddy, and just like, this is not how we're supposed to do this. I need some more privacy. Because like you're just making noises no human body should make, you know, and you're sick, you know, you're trying to keep like fluids in and you can't. and it's just like people are like weeping because like
Oh
everything hurts,
my
you know, like yeah,
whole trough smell like boo boo,
yep.
raw boo boo.
That's the thing. What you would do is you'd have backups. So when one got filled, and we had like a 3-person crew that would just douse it in fucking JP8, which is a diesel fuel that can be used in jets and diesel burning engines, like in Humvees. And you just fucking you douse it, you let it sit for about an hour, and you toss in a match. And then you had to stir it to make sure it burned. So it's just like it was so bad, dude.
Boil, cauldron bubble.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, you're pulling guard as well. And, you only have so many uniforms. So, like, you go up to the guard tower and you can be like, yeah, you were on ship burning duty today, weren't you? And they're just like, yep. And it got to the point where, like, we would just, like, if we were on ship burning duty, we'd hang our uniforms outside because we had to wash them, like, with, like, washboards and a tub because we didn't have any facilities. So, like, you're just sitting there with, like, a box of borax that, like, somebody's grandma sent. We all made fun of that kid for it. And then we were like, that is how you wash clothes out here. And then he became like the dude. And he's like, oh, so you want to make fun of my Nana now? You know? And you're like, can she send some more borax, please? Like we need it.
Poo sauce.
Yeah.
New Yanks is a sports show, correct?
Hey, listen, Nuri, it's a whatever show we want. Okay. And we did the serious sports talk, and now you get the burning shit in Afghanistan talk. See, that's just how it is. Jason's out there declaring war on the animal kingdom in Rosarito, and I'm talking about Afghanistan.
If you see me looking up because that dragonfly keeps coming in.
Yeah, and Sam Sneck can hear all this, and he's like, you know what, sweetheart? He's out on his terrace at this time of night, just loud.
We're trying to eat. What does he think this is?
We in the 60s.
The ghetto? The projects?
That's right. This isn't Oakland, sir. This is Animal Kingdom.
That snake looked like he went back and said that to his snaky friend, like did this.
Yep. Yeah, he went to the Snake Elk Club afterwards and was just like, this is ridiculous, guys.
Jason's starting interspecies race wars. Oh my god.
That dragonfly is coordinating with Snake Darnold.
When y'all said it was a drone, that's what really scared the shit out of me.
What do you think Snake Darnold's doing? The dragonfly drone is just picking up amazing things, sweetheart. Just amazing.
I'm so mad at you guys. Well, look, dude, Mac has a real life now. So let's end tonight. It's getting late. We'll be back next week. And next week there's some big games.
We can bag on Colorado some more because they're going to get their shit pushed in again. So
Miles looks like he's on a bad trip every time he looks over his shoulder. The reason why I'm looking over my shoulder is I have these earbuds in, and it sounds like I can hear something behind me. And there are things that do. I'm on the second story, but there are things that do crawl over. And I'm just making sure that an animal or something didn't hop up here. There's a cat that spends some time up here sometime.
Yeah, it's Snake Darnold. Snake Darnold is just all in your shit right now.
Yeah, dude. And I've also had a snake here. We had a Super Bowl party one day, and here, and we went inside, and we're gonna eat back outside, and there was a snake. It wasn't a rattler, but the guests were definitely terrified.
Oh, dude, yeah. Again, Australia. Maybe I gotta take a shit. And I'm like, oh man, my stomach's making noise. And I sit down and I feel like the snake, like, bro, I'm trying to bathe here. What the fuck?
I mean, it does what you would do if you were trying to take a bath and someone shit on your head.
Yeah. He's just, I mean, it's very inopportune for me, for you to be in the toilet that I'm trying to shit in. You weird Australian snake. Go back home. Get out of here.
Timu, plug the buds. I did get these from.
Of course, yes.
No, I think I might well have one a Timor Amber. They're bootleg something, whatever they are. They are not real. What are these called? Hora. In Spanish, we say hora. Hora.
Oh. You know what, man? I'll tell you right now. I have a pair of like older Beats, the kind that like go around your ear. Like it's got the thing that goes around the ear and it's got a cord. But my buddy gave them to me because he's like, I don't like how they feel in my ears. I'm like, dude, you spent $150 on me and you're on these. You're just going to give them away. He's like, yeah. I'm like, it must be nice to have like, oh, fuck it. These Beats don't fit. I'll go get some more. I was like, it must be nice to have that kind of money. And I've had these things for like 5 years. And this morning they started like going out, like they would intermittently go out. And I'm like, I was like, don't do this. Don't do this. Please, God, don't do this to me.
In the middle of a rep, too. You're just like, I need it. I need it. I need to hear Creed. I need to hear Scott Stapp hit that chorus before I finish this rep.
Newry might know this band, but I listened to Two Johnnies the entire time. And it's like this weird.
Isn't that an Irish group?
Yeah, it's like an Irish ska duo. And they're fucking hilarious. So I was just like trying to chill out this morning. And that's what I listened to. But yeah, man, I was just like, bro, I got a car payment now. Like I was like, I cannot replace fucking headphones, man. I can't do it.
I can get you some bootleg. I bought some bootleg Beats. They last for about 20 minutes. So if you do a quick workout, that shit'll work. But if you got to do an hour-long workout, it's about to die.
Well, I think I might just have to bite the bullet and get an adapter for these and like tuck the cord in my shirt, which I hate doing because like I hate having my phone in my pocket when I'm lifting because like I'm getting into heavier weights and like especially with dumbbells where I put them on my thigh and I like do a little push, get it up, and I'm just terrified of like putting one of the dumbbells down and it's like right on top of my phone. And I'm just gonna die a little bit if that happens.
I've done that before at a gym. Have you seen this new asshole at the gym that fucks with people when they're on a phone?
No,
have you seen this guy?
There's a dude at my gym that because I go to Planet Fitness, but he's a fucking meathead. And like at 5 a.m. it's like people that have to go to work afterwards, right? So you got there's a large cross section of humanity in there at the time. So you got like some really good, people in really good shape. You got some heavier people that are like just starting their fitness journey. You got men, you got what, it's everything. And this dude just comes in, like he'll stop his workout and like come and try and give you tips, right? So I wear one of those like giant hinge knee braces because I've had like my ACL on my left knee replaced twice. And like, I'm only doing like 200 pounds. So I'm doing less of my body weight. I'm just more concentrating on form and reps, and he's like, hey man, you should really put some plates under your heels. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't need to do that because I do other calf exercises. I just need to engage the big muscles in my legs. So can you kindly fuck off and not bother me at 5:30 in the morning? That'd be stupendous, and then you have like he'll go up to like women, especially like women who are far more fit than him, and they're like they have like a 9-pack. They're squatting like 300 pounds. They're deadlifting like 250. Like these women know what the fuck they're doing, obviously. And dude, he's big, but he's not like he doesn't have defined muscle. It's more like strongman muscle, And he's like, hey, if you did this, to help work your pecs. And she's like, okay, well, can you stop staring at my tits? 1 and 2, like, she's like, I've been, nationally bodybuilding in competition for 10 years. I think I'm okay, but nothing stops him. He just will go on to the next one, to the next one. And it's just like, dude, go away. Just fucking go away, man. We all just want to get our workout in before we go to our miserable fucking jobs and do our, 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 or whatever the fuck. And we just have this little hour and a half of peace every morning. Let us have it. I hate that guy. keep your 2 cents to yourself. If I like need help, I will come and ask for help. You know?
Or if you see me struggling, that's a
Yeah.
different thing.
But you know, it was hilarious. Yesterday, I did a fucking phenomenal like shoulder workout. So I was feeling real good, right?
Mhm.
And there were these 2 women that are in there all the time, and they're like, dude, they're tens, bro. Like very, very attractive women, very
Mhm.
fit, very young. Okay. I obviously have a lot of gray in my beard. My knees crack all the time. When I'm doing chest, you just hear my elbows. Like it sounds like popcorns, you know? Um, so, you know, I'm sitting there getting my work done, and like I'm pretty sure it was the youngest one. She comes up and was like, "Hey, can you like take your ear things off?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I like paused I was listening to a book that morning, and I paused it, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" You know? And she's like, "You know, you didn't look at us once." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I'm busy. You know, I'm trying to like
Didn't know
lift
I was supposed to.
yeah, before I
Yeah.
go work, before I go to work." And she's like, "Well, you know, we can tell when a dude's looking at us, and you didn't look at us." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not interested. I'm sorry." And she was like, "Well, why?" And I'm like, "Because I'm twice your age." Okay, like that's the long and short of it. And you know, she was just kind of like taken aback. She's like, "Well, older guys are typically the ones that stare the most." And I'm like, "I got shit to do, sweetheart. Like, I don't have time to like feed your ego by staring at you while you are here working out. Like, I got better shit to do, you know?" And she's just like, "That's weird." And I'm like, "I don't see it as weird.
This conversation is weird.
Yeah, dude, it threw me off. Like, I drive into work and I'm just like, what the fuck just happened?" You know, because I shower at
Yeah.
the gym before I go to work, so I'm not like the
Mhm.
smelly coworker,
Yeah.
you
Yep. Yep.
know, and like I smell nice, I'm good, and like I'm driving into work, and it's only like a 5-minute drive between the gym and where I work, and I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck, you
Do
know,
you think
like
they were recording it? Do you think maybe they were recording it?
they might have been, you know, and okay, cool, you know, but like I don't make a business of like pestering people while they're working out, you know. I'm not gonna lie, like you notice things, but it's like
Mhm.
fucking carry on, dude. Just you know, like go do the next lift or take your break, drink some water, you know. But like I got better shit to do than just I fuck somebody, you know, on the other side of the gym, man. I
There's an
just
industry right now on that where young women are wearing, gym clothes and waiting for any attention whatsoever. And it could even be a thing that, it's a gym. I'm always looking around.
yeah,
And it could be a dude. And if a dude's doing an impressive lift or an exercise I've never seen, I'm probably going to look at it. It's like, oh, that's impressive,
dude, I've gotten
right?
like half my fucking chest workout from a dude that we like for whatever reason, like our chest days correspond, and I just watch his
Mhm.
lifts and I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome. You know, like
Yeah, right. Like you're just looking. It's nothing to do about like, oh, I want to hit that, or sometimes you're just like looking around or whatever. And there's sometimes you look at people at the gym, go, oh, that's girl's got a fat ass. But anyway, if you look at all, they're like, oh, try to get a workout in. This creep looks at me. And it's always these creeps. And so there's this whole thing about like bothering people too as part of this content production. And
yeah,
so this dude was sitting down. He just got done with a bench and he was on his phone texting. And this kid walks up to him and goes, hey, man, can you do me a favor? And the guy goes, what's up? He goes, can you type in your number right here since you're so busy texting? Can you just text right here too? And the dude goes, what are you talking about, man? And it's a younger kid fucking with an older person, right?
yeah,
And the older man is like, what are you talking about, man? The kid's like, well, you're just texting. Can you just text right here? And the guy goes, why are you messing with me? He goes, do you know what I'm doing right now? He goes, I help homeless veterans. And right now, someone contacted me because I'm assisting him with getting housing. That's what I do. I come here every day and I'm always available for these people. So can you please turn your camera off? And he's like, no. Just do the TT. You're in the gym, you're texting. He goes, yeah, I'm in the gym. And someone that has a need has contacted me and I'm trying to help him.
yeah.
And he wouldn't leave the dude alone.
Oh god. I'm so tired of this like content farming shit, you know, like
Oof.
just fuck off, man. Like why why should I be part of your entertainment? You know, I didn't sign up for this shit. I didn't sign a release, you know? Like, honestly, you're in my fucking space and I can fucking just punch you right in your goddamn teeth
Yeah.
and not feel any bit of bad about it. And then I'll just use the excuse I can in North Carolina is I felt threatened for my life. And they'd be like, by a 19-year-old skinny kid with a phone? Absolutely. I felt he was going to kill me, you
Works
know?
for us.
Yep. You know, it's just like, I hate that shit, man. Like, what is the point of that shit? And, you know, we've talked about it a lot, you know, on air and off air. Like, people think, well, I can become an influencer if I pester people. And it's like, dude, there's been enough of it, even if it's only happened a handful of times where people like did the prank shit and ended up getting shot. That should
Yeah.
be enough to tell you this is a bad idea. You
It's
know,
not.
this,
It's
you know,
now that's the thing that puts you on the next level because you're the guy that got shot. And if you do it again, you're an OG in the world of crazy shit. Like I've never like with punk music is the same way. Like someone to, oh, you know this guy, he's like a punk noise artist, and he drove a bulldozer into a show. I was like, why is that cool?
yeah,
I just
yeah.
don't
I
know
mean,
why that's cool. Like explain to me why that's cool.
yeah, and that like, I get it. You want to be like anti-establishment and all that
I'm sure.
nonsense, but you know, it doesn't involve like destroying a venue or you know, like I never understood that. And you know where we also had it really like in the grunge movement. Like, I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
be a typical rock star. Okay, well, don't be. You know, don't do what Whitesnake did and like torch a fucking whole floor of a hotel. You can just go there and stay and then play a rad show. You know,
But
like,
what happens when and we can leave on this, but what happens when authenticity becomes the behavior? And that's just what authenticity is in certain genres. So with more fringe styles of rock music, punk and metal and stuff, and even rap, being transgressive means you are somehow more authentic. So the more mad niggerish I act as a rapper, the more respect I'm going to get. And if I die in the process, now I'm a martyr. The more debaucherous I can get as a punk metal guy, then the more I'm some sort of I'm keeping it real in some sort of way. And I'm like, how are you keeping it real when you're trying so hard
yeah.
to do all these things? I've never really understood that. Like, what
You
are
know what?
you really doing?
I think a lot of that has to do with age, man. You know, when you get older, like you just want to cut out a lot of the nonsense. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like I had this conversation where, you know, a younger person brought up like Nirvana. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they would have still been doing what they did if they were still playing music now. And I'm like, no, they wouldn't. I was like, have you seen what these bands have done? I was like, dude, they got like, I was like, Soundgarden's last album, you know, these were some pretty chill guys now. You know, they weren't interested in, you know, the drugs, sex, the destroying the hotel rooms. They just wanted to go out and play some music. You know, I mean, fuck, look at like some of our favorite punk bands, man. Rancid. Dude, those guys are so old. You know, when I saw them in like 2017, 2018, dude, like they could barely move on,
Mm-hmm.
you know, on stage. You know, they're not getting into it. You know, that's not when you get older, you realize this is dumb as shit. You know, Chris Novoselic even said it, man. He's like, dude, we were so dumb. We wasted so much, you know, like, and he's like, now, you know, I mean, fuck, Novoselic ran for elected office in Washington State, you know, 10
As
years
a
ago. I
as
don't even,
a
I don't even remember.
libertarian.
Fucking goofball. You know what I mean?
But that's
Like,
the
it's,
thing. It's like we put a certain we projected onto them certain ideals, and now as older people, we want to project onto them like they were these leftists and all this other bullshit. And
yeah,
when you pull back a little bit and look at it, they were just anti-corporatists and
yeah,
anti kind of the massive consumption of a certain society. But they really were all about being part of the rock star canon.
yeah,
And what's funny is they're nice guys to their crew, I'm sure, whatever, but they still wanted to be rock stars. They still signed with major labels.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see a certain amount of like pushback on certain things, it's like, are you mad because you're not doing it? Or are you mad because you feel that someone's taking more money out of your pocket and you want to have every single million? Like, why are you really mad? Because I don't understand why you're mad, because eventually you're going to become part of this thing. You're going to play all the corporate venues. You're going to accept all the corporate sponsorships. You are no different than the people that you think you're different from. The only thing that makes you different, like they were really like, we hate corporate rock, signed to major labels. It's like, dude, you're corporate rock with ripped jeans.
Yeah. Like, and that's the weird dichotomy of it all, right? Like to this day, we have, our favorite little bands, right? That stay on. Yeah, that's probably very true.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it actually wasn't the bass guitar. Okay. It was John Lynch that shot out of nowhere, hit him, and then the bass guitar fell down. So it just looked, John Lynch moved so fast, it looked like the bass guitar got him, but he was the one delivering the CTE shot, you know? But
Jesus Christ.
Denny's bathroom cush. Oh my God. Well, this is yeah, I mean, that's a whole other episode. Actually, we could probably talk about that shit. But yeah, I mean, I think we had a great show tonight. We found out that the snakes are, virulently racist against you, Jason, and the entire animal kingdom is upset that you're there. They thought they would be the ones to gentrify Rosarito and not a bunch of Americans moving down and fucking their shit up. But and then we also found out that Shannon Sharp went whole fucking horn on a woman on IG Live. I mean, who knew?
I really hope that it was an accident,
Dude,
but I doubt it. That's a hard accident.
Bro, I have a feeling, because like I can see him like getting ready for, sexy time with his partner.
Mm-hmm.
And like he's scrolling on Instagram and she like walks in with nothing on. He just kind of throws his phone on the bed and they get to business, and like her ass cheek like hit at the right angle and started the IG Live, and you just hear, it's Switch all over again. And
I will be cutting a clip of that tomorrow, by the way.
You should, because that was phenomenal. I'm watching that movie tomorrow night.
Made me laugh so hard with your little comments. And there's a part that somebody time-stamped where you and I both look at the same time. I was like, oh my God, this is the fucking most classic shit we've ever done. Totally on accident.
I mean, it's gonna be phenomenal. And like I said, tomorrow night, I'm doing my list in the morning. My kids have something going on tomorrow night, so like I won't get to see them. And I just already decided I'm gonna get 2 giant White Claws. I have a beanbag chair that I bought from somebody. Long story short, my ex's neighbor found out her husband was cheating on her. So she put all his shit out in the front yard and marked it for $1. So I got like 3 jerseys, a pair of J's, and a giant beanbag chair for like $7. Right. And I told my buddy, and he's like, you don't feel bad about that? I'm like, no, I don't. Like, he played a stupid game and he won a stupid prize. And now I have some J's, some jerseys, and a giant beanbag chair. So I'm just going to turn my TV, and I'm going to sit in my beanbag chair with my 2 giant White Claws, and I'm going to watch the cinematic masterpiece that is Switch.
I'm excited for you to watch that, because I want you to hit me up when you're done and let me know what you think of the main woman, because I told you I know her, and I thought she did a very good job of being this sexually repressed wife. One of the comments that somebody left in the chat, because I wasn't paying attention to it, they said, this sounds like Christian erotica for the sexually repressed. I said, this is exactly what this stuff is. It is Christian erotica for sexually repressed people, and it's just based in such fucking weird fantasy. I think you'll really enjoy it, especially when the church cheek clap man.
Oh man, I can't wait.
Because you're gonna be like, that is the most average dude.
Just working it, good for him, man.
You're gonna be like, I can do this.
Yeah. Remember, it's not the size of the boat, bro. It's the motion of the ocean.
And then that's the dude that apparently has the massive cock because the girl sent the picture of the. Yeah, anyway, watch the movie Switch on Tubi. Everybody,
it's gonna be amazing. And Tubi better start paying. Better start paying for all the plugs we've been giving them.
Because if it's not Tubi, then it's not to be.
Oh. I like that.
That's my pitch. And if Tubi wanted to give me real money, I would definitely take it.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! Church cheek clap. Goddamn.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Just tearing
Kush
them.
looks at hashtag blessed.
That's right.
It's a false flag. He said unscrew on IG Live. Didn't have any smacking sounds. It's a false flag. False flag. All right, y'all. We're about to be out. Mac, we'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow with Eamon Whalen. We're going to be talking about something that I hope you guys pay attention to. We're going to be talking about, I almost called him Joe Waltz. What's the vice president's?
Tim Waltz.
Yeah. Joe Walsh.
I mean, close enough.
We're going to be talking with Bill Walsh from the grave. We're going to be talking with Tim Waltz. Or we're going to be talking with Eamon Whalen, who's a journalist from Minneapolis who covered the BLM protests and also the city council. And we're going to talk about that whole time, how Tim Waltz handled it, and what to expect if someone like that is in office. And then Saturday, we're going to have a great discussion with Good Cedric and another person that wrote a very scathing paper on whiteness studies and DEI and the problem with that. So it's going to be a very good week, rest of the week here on TIR. So I can't wait for you guys to see these shows. And on that note, we are out.